Peace and blessings, collective. It's your girl Hadida. I'm coming to you again from this red tent. I am super excited to be here with you again today, sharing some more tips about Yoni steaming, and this time talking about the divine feminine. In this video, we are going to discuss some ways and how we can go about healing the divine feminine via Yoni steaming. If this is something that you're interested in, make sure you stay tuned. Okay, so as you probably know, you're hearing so much information on the internet about the divine feminine. You're hearing people talk about the divine feminine and divine masculine. It's like, what the heck is all this talk about it? And how can I go about healing my divine feminine? Shoot, how do I even figure out if it's an imbalance in my divine feminine? So I think the first thing that is really important for us to talk about is, what is a divine feminine? Sorry, you guys, I got to get my, energy right up in this space with you guys. I got to make sure it's flowing with some incense. Got the candle burning. Okay. So I think a common misconception is that the divine feminine only refers to women and the divine masculine only refers to men. And that is absolutely untrue. Both men and women can be considered divine feminine, and both men and women can be considered divine masculine. It's really about which one is more, quote unquote, present in you than the other energy. But in fact, every woman and every man has both divine feminine and divine masculine inside of them. Okay, and I think that really when we talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, we have to think about balancing the two so that we're in balance, so that we're not more on one side energetically or more on the other side energetically than the other. We want to make sure that we're actually, in fact, embracing and balancing out both aspects of ourselves. And so when we talk about healing the divine feminine, we're talking about how do we bring that energy of the divine feminine back in balance with the divine masculine. I think that in a lot of previous years, and I know, specifically in the African American community and communities of color, I know that there is this whole stigma of mom has to kind of raise the children by herself and she's stuck to be the breadwinner and blah, 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 blah. And as African American women, we tend to have this whole energy of, I gotta do this and I gotta make sure that I perform, and I don't have the chance to be soft. I don't have the chance to really worry about what's going on inside of me and my emotions. I got to stuff all of that down. I got to make sure all of that is at the bottom of my to-do list. I don't have time to be focused on it. I got to make sure my kids have. I have to make sure my business is working. Like, we have all of these things that are running so quickly in our minds, and that's helping us and forcing us to be out of balance with that divine feminine. That divine feminine is that energy of just being. The divine feminine is just being. I'm not doing anything. I'm simply sitting in my full and complete essence as a woman. I'm sitting in my full and complete energetic body as a woman. I'm not looking for a way to go and perform something, or I'm not chasing after something. Performing, chasing after, using the words of want instead of desire are all forms of masculinity. So if you, sister, have been running after a bunch of tasks, have been focusing on how you can go about getting more stuff done instead of more of the energy of just being and existing and calling to you all that you desire, then you probably have some imbalances in your divine masculine and your divine feminine energies within yourself. So the first thing is just to know exactly that first element of the divine feminine. So I want to talk about some of the correct characteristics of the divine feminine. Some of those characteristics of the divine feminine is she is loving. She gives off the energy of agape love, unconditional, overflowing, over fulfilled love. The second thing is this energy is very powerful. Although it's in this subtle energy of just being, it still is an intense power. There's a power in just being. There's a power in calling to you everything that you desire without having to run after it. I mean, that probably, in my book, is more powerful than a woman that is chasing after what it is that she wants. We don't have to chase after it as women. We have that divine ability to call into us all that we want, as women. So I think that a lot of times sisters feel like if they aren't chasing after something, and if they aren't doing something, if they aren't going after it, then they aren't in fact being fully capable of being a woman. But in actuality, like I said before, the essence of being is what makes you feminine. Another aspect of the divine feminine is she is extremely caring and she is extremely nurturing. These two qualities are something that is very present in the divine feminine energy. She is caring and she is nurturing because she has the ability to give and bring forth life in her children, in her family, in her mate, in her significant other. She has that ability to nurture them. She has that ability to bring them back to health, even if they're not physically sick, energetic health. Rebooting them and bringing life back to them and in their present state, nourishing them. So this is another quality or two qualities of the divine feminine. And I think one of the next and most profound things for me when I think about the divine feminine energy is she is extremely, extremely, extremely sure about her intuition. That gut feeling that she has, she knows. The divine feminine is 100% comfortable with her level of intuitiveness, and she actually leaps into that. She used her divine intuition to help her know that she's on track. She uses that gut intuition to say, yes, you're doing something right, or no, something is off key. It's like tapping into yourself and having all that you need in you that's able to tell you, yes, I'm fully in balance. Yes, I know that I'm doing something correctly because I can feel it inside of me. And she leaps fully into that. She does not stray away from her intuition. She knows that her intuition is correct and she stays firmly in it. She does not second guess it. That is the energy of the divine feminine. So the other thing and the other aspect of talking about healing the divine feminine with Yoni steaming is understanding what is Yoni steaming. What is the significance in healing with Yoni steaming? So Yoni steaming has a lot of benefits to it, and if you don't know those benefits, you can check the video that I will link right here. But Yoni steaming, really on the energetic level, I'm going to talk about, because we're talking about healing the divine feminine, which is energy based. Yoni steaming allows us to be able to tap into that voice that is there in our wombs and really hear loudly and clearly what is imbalanced in us. If we are going through depression, if we're going through anxiety, if we're going through stress, if we're going through kind of being caught up in our head and in our emotions, Yoni steaming allows us to pull those emotions that are laying dormant inside of us that we might not even know are there and that are lying underneath the surface, and bring them up to the forefront for us to deal with and for us to heal. Yoni steaming is that way that so many women across the globe are taking the time to really tap into the womb and to really begin their womb healing journey. I know that a lot of sisters that are in the red tent come to the red tent and they're coming here in search of becoming more in tune with their divine feminine energy, B, healing their wombs, and C, learning the power that they hold within their wombs, within the menstrual cycle, and within their ability to manifest the lifestyle that they desire through their womb power. And so Yoni steaming allows you to embark on and begin to embark on that journey of womb healing. And so when you combine the divine feminine energy being unbalanced and the capabilities of the Yoni steam and being able to help you heal, when you put those two together, it's like a nice juicy marriage of being fully in balance with the divine feminine inside of you and really unlocking those different aspects of yourself that you might not even know needs healing inside of you. I'm sorry to interrupt this video, sis, but have you subscribed to the channel? Because if not, you're going to be missing out on every tip and trick that I give you about your Yoni, about Yoni steaming, about divine feminine, and you're definitely going to be missing out on the tips that we give for the new and the full moon each and every single month. So please don't forget to subscribe. Push that subscribe button and definitely push the notification bell. Peace. So you're probably thinking like, okay, yeah, I have some of those traits that I have that you named, some of those traits I'm really good at, other ones I'm not really good at. What is the big deal, Hadida? Like, why does my divine feminine really need to be healed? And the first thing that we talk about when women come to the red tent is that the womb is your energetic imprint of everything that has happened in your life. Every relationship you've had, every traumatic experience, every illness, every sadness, every form of depression or anxiety, every happy moment even. When we hold our children and we carry our children in our wombs for 9 months, every single experience that we have gets energetically imprinted on the inside of the womb. And so when you're talking about healing the divine feminine, we have to look at what things need healing. What things do we need to get over? What things do we need to balance inside of us? And those things that we need to heal goes back to the traumas that we have dealt with as women and throughout time. The Yoni steam really helps us to begin to unlock those different aspects of healing that we are looking for inside of our wombs. And so that divine feminine that you're dealing with, the energetic imbalance that you may be dealing with, or even it being imbalanced and just kind of using the Yoni steam as a tune-up, the divine feminine is able to really regain her strength and regain her balance through starting to really unlock and unleash and release those different energetic blockages that are down and seated down in the womb. Yoni steaming allows us to connect our energetic body and the traumas and the sadness and the illness and the whatever we may have been experiencing as women throughout our path. It allows us to connect that to our physical body. And I know that so many women, for example, so many women are dealing with this and are so into meditation for this reason, because it really allows us to put the mind and the energetic body and the physical body all on one accord, and allows us to get kind of like place all of them together in a bubble and then get outside of ourselves to examine it. And so Yoni steaming also has this capability because we're taking the energetic trauma that may be present in the womb, and we're taking the physical ailments and issues and diseases. I'm not going to call them diseases. I'm going to call them diseases in the body. We're taking the two of them and we're marrying them together in the Yoni steam, and we're helping to really push those things to the surface and really understand that our wombs are holding those different imprints of what we've experienced in life, and we're looking for ways to bring those things up in order to get them out. We can never really begin to heal if we never really begin to uncover what's there, and we can never begin to uncover what's there if we're not really finding ways to sink our teeth into the reality of the presence of what's in our womb. If you have been experiencing yeast infection, if you haven't been experiencing BV, if you've been experiencing miscarriage, if you've been experiencing PCOS, if you've been experiencing endometriosis, if you've experienced having traumatic rape incident maybe, or even molestation in your childhood, you've experienced some energetic issues on the inside that have begin to show themselves as physical traumas on the outside. I'm not saying that your rape incident or your molestation was actually something that you created from an energetic body. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying though is that if you have experienced those things have left an energetic imprint in the womb, just as any other trauma that you may have dealt with. And so if you are experiencing things such as the vaginal yeast infection and any other diseases in the womb, you're experiencing those things on a physical level because energetically there's something that's imbalanced. There's something that's going on in the womb. It's your womb sending out a signal that says, hey, pay attention to me. I have something that's going on. There's something I need to talk to you about. There's something I'm calling out to you about. These are different ways that our body begins to respond as women, telling us that there's something wrong, telling us that there's something that's not happy about. And so the Yoni steam really allows us to get down past that physical, oh man, I have a cramp, I have an ache, I'm experiencing irregular periods, I'm experiencing miscarriages. It allows us to get past that surface level stuff and to really get down into the depths of what's going on inside of our energetic body that is creating this space where we aren't able to unwind and we aren't able to release what is going on inside of our wombs. One of the major ways that we can begin to heal our wombs during the Yoni steaming process and therefore heal the divine feminine is journaling. When women come into the red tent and they get Yoni steams done, the first thing that we do is we do a womb massage. Okay, and during this womb massage, we're doing a visualization. We're talking about what's going on inside of the woman's mind. I'm having her speak out loud what is going on inside of her mind, what mind chatter she's been rolling around all day, if she doesn't mind, sharing. And most of the times, the women that are coming to the red tent are also women who are currently coming to monthly meetings or maybe have had some healing modalities done with me before, so they're not really afraid or shy from speaking what's on their mind. But the first thing that we do is that massage. And while that massage is happening, she's speaking aloud what's on her mind. And I think that the first thing we have to think about is giving a voice to the pain, giving a voice to the discomfort, giving a voice to the dis-ease, giving a voice to the trauma of what we have been experiencing or what we have experienced in the past that maybe we tried to push down away from the surface. Maybe we tried to not focus on anymore. Getting a chance to give a voice to those issues. And once we give a voice to those issues, we can begin the healing process. The second stage of the Yoni steam after the womb massage is the physical steam itself. And the physical steam itself is, of course, us just this woman going into the sacred space of the red tent room, having a chance to drape herself, have herself a cup of tea if she would like, and just steeping over the pot. And steeping over the pot is allowing her body to release now physical and energetic dis-eases that were moved around and that were loosened up via the womb massage that she just received. And so she's releasing those things. Now, the third aspect of this, which I believe is really that key to unlocking it, is the journaling process. So once the woman comes out of the Yoni steam, that is getting the Yoni steam done, I give her a pen and I give her a journal. And I tell her for the next 3 days, I want her to drink a whole lot of water. And I want her to journal about every random emotion, thought, sadness, illness, trauma, whatever comes up, whatever she thinks about, whatever she feels, write it down. Sometimes women get in that red room of the womb room in the red tent of where we do the Yoni steams, and sometimes I hear them in there weeping. Okay, they're weeping and they're crying. Sometimes I hear them in there screaming. Sometimes I hear them in there, giving themselves a boost talk through affirmations. The range of the emotions that come from yoni steaming is so profound. It's something that I don't think we talk a lot about. We all talk about those, those little happy, frilly times of squatting over the pot and, oh yeah, we can prepare our yoni steams like this, and we can do, we can smell good down there, and we have these benefits and blah, 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 blah. But nobody's really sinking their teeth into what is really happening during that time. And is it okay that I cry? Is it okay that I laugh hysterically? Is it okay that I feel this sense of sadness, this profound sadness? Is it okay that I am reminding of every emotional trauma I've ever went through in my life? And what I'm here to tell you, sis, is yes. It is perfectly okay if during your yoni steam you cry, if during your yoni steam you laugh hysterically, if during your yoni steam you are reminding of the trauma. What is most important is that you get those different things out, that you give voice to it. I want you to comment down below, what are some of the ways that you have begun to start healing your divine feminine? So if you are home, you can speak them aloud. And if you are even, comfortable in the space that you're at, you can speak them aloud. But if you aren't comfortable with speaking them aloud, that is the reason why I give every woman the book and the pen, because it allows you to go home and say out loud through that pen and that paper what you were not able to give voice to when you were squatting on a pot. And it helps to reduce and relieve the blockages that would be caught in our throat chakra, that would be caught in our heart chakra, and that would absolutely be caught in our sacral chakras. So journaling, sisters, is the way that we can begin to heal that divine feminine via the yoni steam, and begin to really tap into the power of our wombs and that manifestation power that we have as women, and our ability to be in balance with the divine feminine, being in a state of just being and not chasing after something. It allows us to tap into that. It allows us to heal the divine feminine so we can be in that divine state as women. So what I want to encourage you is, if you are a woman who has been yoni steaming for some time, I want to encourage you to introduce two new practices to your yoni steams. The first thing is a womb massage. Massage your womb each and every time before you begin to yoni steam. And even during the yoni steam, I want you to massage in a downward motion. Okay? I want you to massage your womb downward. And I want you to, after you do your yoni steam, drink lots of water, and for the next 3 days, journal. And this journal is going to become a log for you to be able to look back on during your healing process. It's going to become a way for you to look back on where you've come from and where you're going. Sometimes during your yoni steam, you will be given affirmations. Okay, and one of the affirmations that I give the women in the red tent the most is, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Getting in the habit of telling ourselves we are enough, because sis, you totally are. There's nothing that you are missing. The only thing that you may need is a balancing, but there's nothing that exists outside of yourself that makes you a better person. Everything that you need is already inside of you. Everything that you need is already inside of your mind, inside of your spirit, inside of your heart, and definitely inside of your womb. So we want to tell ourselves on a regular basis, I am enough. If you are yoni steaming, if you are getting into the energy of healing your womb, I want you to begin to say this, I am enough, as a mantra. Tell yourself when you're in the shower, I am enough. Tell yourself when you're cooking, I am enough. Tell yourself when you're driving, I am enough. Tell yourself when you are yoni steaming, I am enough. I hope that you found this video to be helpful. I hope that you have found some tips on how you can begin to balance and bring into balance the divine feminine and masculine that is inside of you, and how you can be more in that the divine feminine energy that is already inside of you, how you can be more present inside of her. I love you guys, collective. I want to say peace. I want to say thank you for sharing this time with me, allowing me to share what I have to say with you. Peace.